Hello YouTube and Twitch chat. I have a brand new, never before seen deck profile. You see, one of the cool things about the Digimon TCG, which some card games don't offer this by the way, is you can take a pool of cards and you can take two pieces of metaphorical bread and you can make a nice sandwich with the stuff in the middle. You can do that in the Digimon card game. You can literally do this. This pile of cards, this peanut butter and jelly sandwich deck profile is really cool. It's intended for BT10 meta, and no, before YouTube says, oh, Tier 1 Mario, added again, this is not a Tier 1 deck, by any stretch of the imagination. This is a fun deck that is putting in work against all the Tier 1 decks of the format, and a couple others. And it's definitely not perfect, there is room for improvement, and we are going to talk about it. This is the first time I've seen this deck profile. This is the first time I've seen this concept even used, like, to this extent. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. If you do, like the video. Actually, like the video anyway. Just like the video. Comment, let me know what you think about the deck, and turn the notification bell on to smash potatoes, and make sure you subscribe. That way you know when all of my amazing Digimon videos come out. So, Peanut Butter, which is the yellow cards, and the Jellymon, which is the Jellymons. We're going to talk about the eggs first, which is 5 eggs, 4 Upamons, and Demi-Vmon. When attacking, if it's jamming, draw a card. When attacking, if no sources, draw a card. You will actually resolve this Upamon more than you will resolve Demi-V. So, we play 4 in 1. This is a bit of a slower deck. This is not a fast deck. This is not a fast deck. Okay, so there we go. 5 eggs. Moving on to the rookies. This deck, it does only play 8 rookies. It plays 4 copies of BT10 Jellymon, the jelly of the deck. This card is really freaking good. If you play a blue Tamer, you draw a card once per turn. That's really good. It lets you actually get draw power for playing Tamers, which is super important. And the Inheritable comes up sometimes when an effect adds a card to your hand. That's pretty generic, by the way. You bounce a level 3 Digimon to your opponent's hand, which is kind of works out. A lot of people are playing things this format like Gazimons and Psychmons, so Jellymon is just eating stuff up. There's also a lot of on-play searchers. There's also a lot of Sistermons. So this Jellymon does see value sometimes, even its Inheritable stack, which is pretty cool. Then we play 4 copies of Tournament Pack Jellymon. Inheritable when attacking once per turn. If you have Kiyoshiro Higashimatari in play, you get to draw a card. That's pretty cool. So you can obviously, like, there are situations where you definitely just pot a greed whenever you attack, which is cool. Who doesn't like drawing 2 cards from their deck, eh? So that'll do it for our rookies. 8 rookies. It's okay. It's a control deck. We can get away with such low count of rookies. Our champions, we're playing 4 copies of Leomon. Yeah. Yeah. EX2 Leomon. If you have a Tamer in play, it's a blocker. And on deletion, gain 2 memory and draw a card. So, 4 Leomons to give us extra control, extra blocking power. Something really cool is that there's a lot of, like, there will be Tamers in this deck. And Leomon is a level 4 Digimon that will die to Death Xmon if they play it. So, their Death Xmons cost 2 extra memory, essentially gave you a card. Also, it's good to block. It's good to have a blocker in this format. You know, people can just go for games sometimes. So yeah, Mr. Sacrifice himself, we play 4 copies of it. The only other champion we're playing in this deck, and deck space, by the way, is super tight. So don't get so triggered when you see this. I'm playing 2 copies of Magnamon. Getting into the yellow cards now. Blocker, Armor Purge, and always evolves for 4, unfortunately, because we don't play Vmons. It's fine. But, it's not a big deal. You'll see why in a bit. The 4 doesn't matter too much. It can gain 2000 DP sometimes, I guess, but not very often. It is really there for the blocker and for the Warp Digivolve, which I'll just go into real quick. We are playing 3 copies of Magna X. Oh, more peanut butter and jelly in 1 card. This card is really good in BT10. It just stops certain decks from actually attacking you. Like, Minerva Loop is all about spamming werewolf modes, right? Well, not with this card in the field. They can't get their damage in. Pretty good. Other Tier 1 decks of the format need to also get through Magna X. Shoutmon might have a hard time doing that. So 3 copies of Magna X is really good. Plus when it dies, it heals. Like, it's just heals itself. It's a really good card. We play 3 copies of it. Now, we skipped over the level 5s. We are playing 4 copies of Shakumon. When you evolve, you recover 1. It can DNA Digivolve from a yellow level 4 and a blue level 4. And if you DNA Digivolve it, then you bounce your opponent's card back to hand with a level less than or equal to the number of cards of security. You will DNA Digivolve quite often in this deck, and you get to bounce things. So this deck, so far, if you can tell, is all about control. It's about controlling the board, controlling your security. And Shakumon's really good. Plus, the inheritable minus 3000 DP comes up sometimes. True. Now, this is it for the blue Digimon in the deck. I wanted to cover the blue Digimon first, before we get to the yellow Digimon. And in this deck, there are 9 yellow Digimon. Pure yellow Digimon. Can you guys guess, just a wild guess, what 9 yellow Digimon, pure yellow Digimon, I'm playing in this deck? What is the true peanut butter of the deck? I'll give you a hint. It's not more Leomons. We're playing hybrids. Yeah, 9 hybrids. The hybrid package is crazy. Yes, Jet Sophie's at 1. I know. But in this game, you can go hybrid for game a lot. And Jet Sophie is just extra recovery. It's definitely kind of win more. You don't need Jet Sophie in this deck, but it's really cool when you get it off, so we do indeed play the 9 hybrids. Those are our champions. You only ever evolve them on Tamers, because as you guys saw, there's no yellow rookies. But it's perfectly okay. We play enough yellow Tamers to facilitate this. Not a big deal. It's actually more consistent than it looks. We do play 1 more Digimon in this deck. 1 copy of Susanomon. Susanomon can evolve on a Tamer for 7 by returning 10 hybrids and Tamers from your hand or graveyard to the bottom of your deck. When you evolve it, you pop a Digimon and has security type +2. You can also evolve it on Magna X. I've never done that, but I actually ended up playing Susano because we play so many. There's a lot of Tamers in this deck. A lot of Tamers in this deck, which we'll get to in a second. So it's good to recycle your stuff. Also, this deck is really slow sometimes. You can just deck out if you don't have Susanomon. So we do play the 1 copy of Susanomon as kind of an endgame win button, and making sure you don't deck out. It's very important. You are drawing a lot of cards with your Jellymon strats and your blue eggs, so having Susan to help you not deck out is kind of important. That's it for the Digimon. We're moving on to the Tamers, and we'll start with the blue Tamers. We're playing 3 copies of Tournament Pack Kiyoshiro Shibatari. I cannot say this card's name right. You suspend this to give your Digimon jamming if Jellymon's in the sources. Jamming is really cool because it guarantees that your Magna X and your Shakumons live the check, so that you can also evolve the Magna X, or your Magna X never dies, which means they're always redirecting. And it also works with your 1 copy of Demi-V. Like, we play this Tamer because it's a 3-cost blue Tamer. That gives you jamming. So you're able to survive checks. And then, like say you attack with Leomon, right? With Jellymon in the sources. You swing, jamming makes it stay alive. You evolve into a hybrid, and then you can go Shakumon. DNA Digivolve. Where maybe the Leomon would have died. This Kiyoshiro with the jamming really does come up. It is not bait. This card's actually incredible. And we do need to play some copies of Kiyoshiro because we are playing the Tournament Pack Jellymon. It is incredibly important for the draw power. We're playing 2 copies of Jerry Kato. On play a Leomon from your hand, and opponent's turn, when they attack, you can suspend this Tamer, draw 1 card. So it gives you draw power, gives your opponent less incentive to attack you, and it plays Leomon. That's really cool. Have you ever played a game in Digimon where you have a Jerry in security, you flip it over, and then you play a Leomon from hand? It's pretty broken. Also, it is a blue Tamer, so you do get to draw a card when you play it with Jellymon in the field. So 2 Jerry, not 4, because this is not a Leomon deck. Leomon is just here as a blocker and a memory gainer and a card draw, and a blue champion. While Jerry is here to help with that, and also net you cards if your opponent attacks you. The 2 Jerrys does come up. It's really cool. We do play 1 copy of the Memory Tamer Kyushiro. When you attack with a Digimon that's Jellymon its traits or level 5 or higher, you suspend this to draw a card only if you have 7 or less cards in hand. This actually doesn't come up as much as you think, so we do only play the 1 copy of it. And we do play other Memory Tamers in this deck, so I think it's okay. So that's it for our blue Tamers, and we are going to move on to yellow Tamers now. We're playing 4 copies of Cody. Yes, Cody. This is our primary memory gain in the deck, because we'll often have Magnamon, Magna X, or Shakumon in the field. Also just any yellow Digimon. So like if you evolve the hybrid at some point, you know, you get the memory for Cody. So it does come up, and you do gain memory. And when you attack with dual color Digimon, you suspend this to give something minus 2,000. So this with Shakumon Inheritables on Magna X kill 5k, which can come up. And if you have multiples, it can kill bigger things. So why not do that? We're playing 3 copies of Zoe 101. It does add a hybrid out of your security, which is really important. But it also gives you security Digimon plus 3,000, which could matter in this format. It could matter. So 3 copies of Zoe. And we are playing 2 copies of TK. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Mario, it's a yellow deck. How could you not play 4 TKs? Are you fucking nuts? Well, the answer is no. You see, we play so many pure blue cards in this deck that having multiple TKs is actually a liability. So we do only play 2 copies of it, making our total for 3 memory Tamers in the deck, and that's about it. That's it for our Tamers. We play 15 Tamers. That's a lot of freaking Tamers. Sure, Death X is free, but this deck doesn't care about Death X. You might think it doesn't have a way to deal with Death X exactly, but it kind of does. You can get multiple little chokes in, little pokes in with Death X, whatever, all good in the hood, all that. And all it takes is for a couple Codys and like a Magna X to swing into a Death X. So like, it is pretty good. That's it for Tamers. For options, we're playing 2 copies of Holy Flame. Again, because deck space is really tight, but Holy Flame is a floodgate where flipped in security does auto-win you the game, which is super important. And also giving something minus security 3, kind of relevant, kind of comes up. We are playing 1 copy of Reinforcing Memory Boost. Reinforcing Memory Boost there because it's at 1, and the 3 memory really helps you. The 3 memory, I saved this for Susanoo 99% of the time. You'll have a TK or a Kyushiro, a Cody, and a Reinforcing Boost. You go to 7, and you Susan for game. Really strong. Or you Susan for almost game. You kill them next turn. Not a big deal. So we got the Reinforcing in there for the heal and the memory. And the 50th card is Ice Wall. Because Ice Wall is at 1, and a little bit of control is really, really good. Now, untested territory real quick I want to talk about. I have not yet tested this deck with Taiankari and Sunrise Busters. That would solve, undisputedly, the Death X problem. And you can also play things like Crimson Blaze. That's the next thing I'm going to test with this deck. It's going to play Jellymons and just Magnamons, probably no Leomons, Magna X's, Shaku's, and Taikari's, Sunrise Busters, and Crimson Blazes. Just for more matchup spread. And I think that is a different way you can try this deck. That's what I'll be trying next. And if it works high enough to my standards, it gets deck profile. Anyway, that's it for the peanut butter and jelly deck profile. Got lots of peanut butter in here, lots of jelly in here. The deck is super fun, and like I've never seen this concept before, and I want to expand on it more and more as I mentioned the red cards and see if it really works. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I think this deck is pretty fucking good. Have a nice day. Bye.